Welcome everyone to your RingCentral Meetings Video Conferencing Basics training. My name is Carolin Horwitz. I'm a Senior Training Specialist with RingCentral. I've been with RingCentral almost 4 years now and have been training our RingCentral customers on our product and applications for the last 3.5 years. We have about 30 minutes scheduled for today's webinar. We're going to do a brief introduction to the RingCentral Meetings application, and then we'll spend the majority of the webinar in a live demonstration of how the meeting application works. We'll review how to launch RingCentral Meetings from other applications that you may already be using with RingCentral, and then we'll end with Q&A as well as sharing some helpful resources. So with RingCentral Meetings, all of our RingCentral Office customers have the ability to host their very own video meetings. It gives you the flexibility to connect with anyone, anywhere, and any way you want. So you can connect through the RingCentral Meetings mobile app on your tablet or cell phone. You can do it through a conference room at your office, at your home office, with your laptop. And you'll see here there are quite a few features that come with RingCentral Meetings. Some of the ones that we'll highlight today are the ability to easily schedule your meetings directly from your calendar, the ability to manage your meeting with meeting controls, in-meeting chat and recording, and then obviously screen share. So let's go ahead and begin exploring the features of the RingCentral Meeting application. So the RingCentral Meeting application is a free application you can download through our website. Once you've downloaded the Meetings app, you'll need to log on with your RingCentral credentials. This could be your company email address and RingCentral password. It could be your direct phone number and password, or if your company has enabled single sign-on, you can log into the app that way. So we'll look at My Meetings application in just a moment, but it will look a little bit different since we are in a meeting for today's webinar. So I'll just highlight two things before we look at My App Live. When you're looking at your meeting application and you're not currently in a meeting, you can use the top two circles that I've outlined in red to quickly start your meeting with or without video. So this would be a use case where you're talking to a colleague on the phone and one of you says, I'd really like to be able to see what you're talking about. And you can say, let me just launch a quick RingCentral meeting. You can both stay on the phone, but you can launch the meeting, share the meeting link with your colleague, and you can quickly get a screen share started. Now, many of you may be primarily scheduling your meetings for a specific date and time in the future, but every now and then, if you want to quickly get your meeting started just on the fly, an easy way to do that is with those two circles at the very top of your meeting app when you're looking at the video section of the app. I'm going to minimize my slides and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the RingCentral Meeting application live. Before we do that though, I do want to make sure everyone on today's webinar has access to downloading the free meeting app. Again, this is a free application and all of our RingCentral Office customers have the ability to log in with your RingCentral credentials and schedule and host your very own meeting. So we'll pause just a moment. I'm going to pull up our downloads page so that I can send this over to everyone on today's webinar and you can get the Meetings app downloaded if you have not downloaded it already. So I'm going to send a link to the entire downloads page. What we're going to be highlighting today is RingCentral Meetings. And then for those of you using Outlook, I also would recommend getting the Outlook plugin downloaded so that you can schedule your RingCentral meetings directly from Outlook. So that's going to be the second option and third option that we've outlined in red. Those would be the apps and plugins that I would recommend downloading that relate to today's webinar topic. So I am going to send this link through the webinar chat so that anyone that doesn't have the app already downloaded can get it downloaded for free. If anyone wants it on their tablet or cell phone, I recommend just going to the App Store on your phone. Okay, so first step is get RingCentral Meetings downloaded, and you want to get logged into it using your RingCentral credentials. So I've already done that. So let's just take a tour here of our Meetings application. So along the top in blue, we've got your name and then access to all of the settings within the Meetings app. We'll circle back to settings. In the middle, you've got the ability to start, schedule, and join your video and screen share meetings. And remember, my app looks a little bit different since we're in a meeting for today's training, but the video section is kind of your home base where you can start, schedule, and join a meeting. So that's going to be the video section of the app. We also have meetings. From the meetings section, you've got a list of all your upcoming meetings that you are the host of. Just keep in mind, this is not a list of meetings that other people are hosting that you've been invited to as a participant. These are just the meetings that you're hosting. But from this section, you can quickly get your meeting started without having to launch the meeting launcher. It opens a tab on your browser. Those of you that launch your meetings from Outlook, you may have noticed that. So if you want a quicker way to get your meeting started, you can use this upcoming list. If you're going to edit or delete meetings, though, I recommend doing that directly from your calendar. For those of you that are going to be recording your meetings, you can also access your recorded meetings here in the recorded section of your meetings app. So again, in the meetings section, you have your recorded meetings and your upcoming meetings. So think about this as kind of looking forward or looking back. And then this is kind of in the moment. We want to start a meeting or schedule a meeting. So let's go ahead and review how to schedule a RingCentral meeting. I'm going to select schedule. We'll move this over here. It'll open up a separate window where you can then schedule your meeting. I recommend customizing the topic. And then let's select Friday at 2 p.m. I like to keep video off to start. That way, if you are meeting with anyone that's working from home or just not quite ready to be on video today, you can always respectfully start the meeting with the video off, and then if people are ready and willing to be on video, they can opt to turn it on themselves, and that would include both the host and the participant. I like to keep the audio options as is as well. With telephone and internet audio, we'll be providing people with dial-in numbers and a meeting ID if they'd like to join from a traditional telephone, or with internet audio, we just mean you're going to be using your computer audio. So you can use the built-in mic and speaker on your computer, or ideally we'd recommend wearing some sort of headset or headphones with a built-in mic if you are going to join your meeting via computer audio. Now under meeting options, most of these options work pretty well in terms of the default settings. The only one I want to highlight here would be, I do recommend turning on the enable join before host. So you would want to check that box. That way, if you're ever running late to a meeting or you can't make it to a meeting that you've scheduled, you can have one of your colleagues run the meeting for you. So it just gives you a little bit of more flexibility with getting those RingCentral meetings started. For anyone that wants to set up a personal meeting ID, you can do that. If you find that you're always having a lot of issues with background noise on your very large meetings, you could proactively mute participants on entry. So those are a couple optional ones, but I would say the big one I do recommend turning on at minimum would just be enable join before host. You'll then select the calendar you'll be using. I'm going to use Outlook for today's example, but we do offer it for Google as well. Okay. So we have our meeting invitation. Gotta clear up one item here. Okay, so you all can generate the meeting invite through the meeting application on your desktop like we just did. Or for those of you with Outlook, I do also recommend the Outlook plugin. What you can do is instead of having to navigate over to the Meetings app on your desktop, you can actually just open up your Outlook calendar and schedule a new meeting and just use the plugin to automatically generate your meetings invite directly from Outlook. So you can get that free Outlook plugin through the link I sent at the beginning of today's webinar. So at this point, you've got your meeting invite. You can go ahead and just start inviting people to your meeting. All you need is their email address. You can invite people that are part of your company, but you can also invite people outside of your organization, such as vendors, clients, really anyone you need to do a video or screen share meeting with, you can invite as long as you have their email address. The number of people that you can host on your RingCentral meeting will vary, so you need to be aware of what tier you're on. Those of you on the standard tier can have up to 4 people on your meeting. So that would be you and 3 other people. Premium tier is 100, and then the ultimate tier is 200. If you're not sure what tier you're on, you can find that through the billing section in the admin portal if you're an administrator of your company's RingCentral account, or the account executive you're working with, or even support could help look that up for you. But I did just send that through the webinar chat. So again, be aware of what tier you're on. That can affect how many people you can host to a meeting. It's either 4 if you're on standard tier, 100 on the premium tier, or 200 on the ultimate tier. So we're going to invite our attendees. If we'd like to set this up as a reoccurring meeting, we can certainly do that reoccurrence directly through whatever calendar you're using. And then let's just review what we've got in the body of the invite. So this link is what you and your participants can click on to join the meeting. So that's an adjustment for some of our customers that are coming from a more traditional audio conferencing solution. We don't have unique host codes or host links and participant links. The link's exactly the same, no matter if you scheduled the meeting and you're the host or you're just a participant. You all click on that link to be able to view any of the screen share or video from your own computer. And then you can also then join the meeting via computer audio. If you don't want to join via computer audio, we provide a shortcut to quickly join the meeting from your cell phone, or you can always use the basic dial-in number, and then you'll be prompted to enter your meeting ID. So that's going to be your meeting invite. You can go ahead and send that meeting invite, and then when it's time for your meeting to start, you can either open up the invite on your calendar and launch the meeting through this link, or you can do it through the meetings list on your meetings app. You'll find it here in your upcoming list. So any questions here on scheduling a RingCentral meeting? Okay, at this time, we're then gonna go ahead and review the in-meeting experience. So I'm gonna stop my screen share for just a moment so that we can take a look at the in-meeting experience. A few windows will look a little bit different since we're in a webinar, but for the most part, the experience here will look the same. So anytime I join a RingCentral meeting, the first thing I'll do is join the meeting audio. So I have access to a headset So I put my headset on and I can join the meeting audio very quickly just by joining via computer audio. I've already got my headset configured so that it's using my headset as the speaker and mic. If you don't have a headset that you can wear or headphones with the built-in mic, you can always use the dial-in number and meeting ID to join. If you are joining from a phone, we do recommend entering in the participant ID as well. That way, your name in the participant list will be tied to your audio. Now that I've joined the meeting, I can start sharing my screen. So anyone on a RingCentral meeting can share their screen. You do not have to be the host. When I want to share my screen, I can share my entire desktop or just one application. Once I'm ready, I'll just select share and I can start sharing my screen from there. My audio and video controls are found in the lower left-hand corner of the meeting application. So as I said in my settings, I like to start with video off, but if I wanted to have a video meeting or do video and screen share, I could always turn on my video once I've joined the meeting. The participant list is very important as the host of a meeting. From here, I can see who's on, and then I can individually mute and unmute participants. I could also mute the entire meeting. So for those of you on the for those of you on the premium or ultimate tiers, you do have the ability to host larger meetings. So if you're hosting a meeting with more than 20 people, you're usually going to get some background noise or people that aren't on mute. So as the host of that meeting, you just need to know, click on Manage Participants, take a look at who's on mute and who's off of mute, and then you can manage the audio of the meeting from there. As the host of the meeting, don't be afraid to mute the whole meeting if you need to, or to individually mute and unmute participants. It can be distracting if you're having a lot of background noise, but kind of are afraid to hurt someone's feelings by muting them. You can use your meeting chat, and then you can also record your meeting. When the meeting's over, you can either end the meeting for all. That'll immediately close out the meeting application on everyone's computer and disconnect the audio, or you can simply leave the meeting. So if you need to run, but you've got some people on the meeting that are wrapping up final discussions, you can always leave your meeting open for them. You just got to be aware you cannot host more than one RingCentral meeting at a time. So if you're going from one meeting to the next, you'll need to end one meeting so that you can then start the next meeting. Any questions here on the in-meeting experience? We'll take another look visually at what it looks like once you start sharing your screen. We didn't quite show that start to finish. So once you launch your screen share, you'll see a black toolbar across the very top of your computer monitor, and then you should also see this green border. So those two items are visual cues to the meeting attendee that they're now sharing their screen to everyone else on the meeting. So we don't offer a little window that you can look at, but that's your visual cue. The green border and then also this black toolbar that you'll see across the top of your computer monitor. So when you're in screen share mode, this black toolbar is where you have your different meeting controls. You can also use the annotation tools. I've been using those a little bit on today's webinar. That gives you the ability to use the spotlight, or you can also draw shapes to highlight something you're sharing on your screen. Now, when you're done sharing your screen, all you would do is select Stop Share. If someone else needs to share their screen, you first would need to stop sharing your screen, and then the next person would be able to start sharing theirs. So there's nothing you do around passing someone the ball or giving them screen share permission, like some of the other tools you may have used for web meetings or screen share. But you do have to be kind of clear on the steps or the workflow. You select the red icon that says Stop Share, and then from there, the next person could start sharing their screen. All right. Let's go ahead and then move on to the final section of today's RingCentral Meetings webinar. We'll talk about launching the RingCentral meeting from other applications. So anytime you see the icon of the video camera, like we've got here on this slide, that's going to indicate that you can click on that to launch a RingCentral meeting. So you can do it from our new RingCentral app, the RingCentral phone app for both desktop and mobile as well. So we talked about the plugin. Again, I've sent the link to download the Meetings app and the plugin through the webinar chat already. But I do recommend using that if you are an Outlook user. It'll just put that plugin right at the top of your calendar. And from there, you can easily schedule your meetings, or you can also use it to start a meeting on the fly with or without video. And then for any of you using Google, you also have the ability to quickly schedule a RingCentral meeting from your RingCentral for Google add-on or the RingCentral Meetings for Google. You'll just need to search for those in the Chrome store through Google. And if we do have any Google users that want a little more clarification on that or help finding the link to get these add-ons, just reach out to me through the webinar chat. The final area that we'd like to highlight in terms of launching or hosting your meetings when you're away from your computer or on the go would be the RingCentral Meetings mobile app. You can download that through the App Store. It's available for free from your iOS device or Android device. You'll log into the mobile app exactly the same way that you would log into the app on your desktop. From here, you'll actually be able to turn on the video and use the built-in camera on your cell phone to participate in video meetings. You can view the screen share, mute and unmute your audio, see who's on the meeting and chat with them. So really, anything you could do from your computer, you can pretty much do from the Meetings app if you get it on your cell phone as well. So that's going to conclude today's webinar training on RingCentral Meetings. We do have a few closing announcements for our attendees, so just hold on here for another moment or two. You all can continue your training by going to support.ringcentral.com. You'll find all of our knowledge base articles, but also you'll be able to access RingCentral University. That's where you can register for upcoming webinars, find webinar recordings, and also a lot of bite-sized videos that are just a couple minutes. So if you, again, want to learn a little bit more about meetings or the other RingCentral apps, we'd encourage you to check out the content on RCU. I'll go ahead and send a link to that through the webinar chat, as well as a link to a training survey where we'd love to get your feedback on today's session. And with that, we do have a couple minutes before we get to the official end of our webinar. So at this time, I would like to open up the webinar to any final questions from our attendees. So again, all attendees are on listen-only mode. So to get my attention or to ask a question, you will need to use that webinar chat. So just click on the chat bubble and you can send in your questions that way. First link I'll be sending is that survey link, and then the next link will be the link to RingCentral University, where we have additional training content available to all of you. Okay, can you text a customer through RingCentral? You can. It's not going to be related to RingCentral Meetings, but if you have the RingCentral app or RingCentral phone, you can compose a text from there. So I'll pull up the RingCentral phone app here. So if you have the phone app on your desktop, you just select the message bubble, type in the name of anyone in your company directory or an outside cell number, and then you can just say hello or whatever you need to text them. So that would be through the phone app. The RingCentral app is going to look a little bit different, but that also has that capability built in. If you were to do it through the RingCentral app, it would just be the plus symbol, new text, and I can go ahead and text Rose, say, what time are we meeting? So these are apps that are included with your RingCentral account as well. If you're interested in using the RingCentral app or RingCentral phone, you can find that through the downloads page I sent at the very beginning of today's webinar. And again, texting is included for our RingCentral Office customers at no additional cost. With the RingCentral app, you'll see a little message bubble, so that'll help you clarify whether it's chat or text. Any other questions?